The Eagles are heading into their Thursday night showdown against the Giants with a tidal wave of updates that could shake up everything we've seen from this team so far. From key injuries to potential locker room drama being addressed behind closed doors, and even some quiet but important shifts on the depth chart, there's a lot happening in Philly right now. And while that last loss still stings, especially because it felt like one they let slip through their fingers, there's now a golden opportunity on a short week to right the ship, recenter this offense, and potentially come out of this divisional matchup with not just a win, but a statement. Let's start with the matchup itself. Yes, it's a division game, and yes, we've seen these kinds of games go sideways in the past, no matter how lopsided they look on paper. But let's be honest here. The Giants are 1-4, they've struggled on both sides of the ball, and they're currently more than a touchdown underdog at home. So, on the surface, this looks like the kind of bounce-back game the Eagles need. That said, the division factor makes this dangerous. These are the games where records often go out the window. Philly needs to stay sharp, stay focused, and most importantly, stay out of their own way, something they've failed to do over the last couple of weeks. Because if there's one thing we've seen lately, it's that this team has been its own worst enemy at times. Whether it's questionable play calling, head-scratching penalties, or just sloppy execution in key moments, the Eagles have left a lot on the table. The offense, in particular, has been this strange roller coaster of explosive flashes followed by head-scratching stalls. The passing game shows signs of brilliance. You've got drives where they move the ball with precision, make big plays, and show real rhythm. But then, suddenly, everything slows down. It's like someone hits the brakes on the play calling, and things just sputter out. A big part of that inconsistency seems to lie with the offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, who, despite improving as the season has gone on, still falls into conservative stretches that kill the offense's momentum. Whether it's calling predictable routes, running headfirst into stacked boxes, or failing to adjust mid-game, it's becoming clear that something needs to evolve. Add to that the avoidable penalties and mental mistakes, and you've got a unit that's underperforming despite having the talent to be elite. One specific moment from last week's game really sums it up. That missed deep shot from Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown. That ball was there. That was a touchdown. And had A.J. not slowed his route, they probably win that game. But what's even more surprising than the misfire is what happened after. Or better yet, what didn't happen. A.J. Brown reportedly said he and Hurts didn't even talk about the play after the game. That silence sparked a lot of speculation, especially when a report came out claiming that Hurts and Brown aren't as close off the field as they used to be, and that their lack of communication is visible even from the press box. Now look, we're not here to gossip or play therapist. But in football, communication between your quarterback and your number one receiver is crucial. If that relationship isn't where it should be, even just on a football level, it's a problem. And when that kind of disconnect shows up in a missed opportunity that could have sealed a win, it gets magnified. Thankfully, there's been some encouraging news on that front. A report just came out saying that Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Saquon Barkley, yes, Saquon, had a long, constructive meeting earlier this week. According to Hurts, it was all about accountability, alignment, and moving forward together. He didn't say too much about the details, which isn't a surprise, but what matters is that the conversation happened. And not just a quick chat. It reportedly lasted hours. That could be huge, because whether there's actual tension or just a disconnect, getting your offensive leaders back on the same page is massive for this team's trajectory. Maybe it doesn't fix everything overnight, but it's a step in the right direction. And who knows, maybe it ends up being one of those turning point moments, kind of like the bye-week reset the team last season. But let's not pretend the only issue is passing game chemistry. The run game has been a mess too, and it's quietly becoming one of the Eagles' biggest problems. Kevin Patullo has this tendency to stick with running the ball straight up the middle into heavy defensive fronts, which isn't working. Look at Saquon's run chart from the last game. The only successful play came on a run to the outside. So why not try more of that? Mix it up. Take advantage of the speed and agility you have. But beyond scheme and play design, the real issue seems to be the offensive line. And that's shocking, considering this has been one of the best units in football the past few years. But right now, they're just not getting it done. Whether it's health, cohesion, or just flat-out execution. The O-line isn't creating lanes, isn't moving the line of scrimmage, and it's making life a lot harder on this offense. Analyst and former player Seth Joyner broke it down perfectly, showing how they're losing at the point of attack. Double teams are getting pushed back, tight ends are getting blown up, and defenders are getting through untouched. That's not the standard this line has set over the years. And without that foundation, the whole offense starts to wobble. One name that keeps coming up in this conversation is Landon Dickerson. He's been banged up since training camp, first with a knee issue, and now with a new ankle injury that forced him out of the last game. And now, it looks like he's going to miss the Giants game, and possibly the next one too. That's obviously a blow. But at the same time, this might actually be a blessing in disguise. Dickerson hasn't looked right all season, and maybe this is the break he needs to finally heal up. There's even talk that sitting him through the bye week might be the best move, giving him 3 full weeks to recover and come back at full strength. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen, but if the Eagles want to fix the run game, they need Dickerson healthy, and they need the whole line to step it up. On a more positive injury note, it looks like Saquon Barkley is trending toward playing Thursday night. He was back at practice this week after being listed out early on, and barring a setback, he should be good to go. That's huge, especially going up against a Giants defense that has struggled to stop the run this season. This could be the game where Barkley finally has a breakout performance, and what better time than against his former team. Meanwhile, tight end Grant Calcaterra is not expected to suit up, which isn't a massive blow, but it does take away a solid depth piece in the passing game. The Eagles should be able to manage without him, but it's another small piece of the puzzle that won't be in place. One piece that might be back, though, is linebacker Nakobe Dean. After missing time with a knee injury that goes all the way back to last postseason, he's been back at practice and could be active for Thursday night. He's not expected to have a full role yet, which makes sense considering how long he's been out. But just having him back in a mix is encouraging, especially with how much promise he's shown. That said, Jair Brown has been phenomenal in his place, grading out as one of the top linebackers in coverage league-wide. So, there's no rush to get Dean fully back in the fold, but having a kind of depth developing midseason is a great sign. And speaking of young talent stepping up, keep an eye on Khalil Ringo. After taking over the starting corner spot from Adoree Jackson last week, he might be holding on to that job moving forward. Vic Fangio didn't confirm it, but he hinted that the combination of Ringo's solid play and Adoree still working his way back from injury led to the decision. And honestly, Ringo's performance may have simply earned him the spot outright. If he continues to deliver, it only makes sense to give the reps to the younger player and keep building for the future. Now, just for fun, the Eagles are breaking out the white jerseys with black pants for Thursday night. It's a fan-favorite look, and hey, maybe a new uniform combo brings some new energy to the team. Stranger things have happened. Oh, and in some quick roster news, C.J. Gardner-Johnson has signed with the Ravens practice squad. So if anyone was holding out hope for a reunion in Philly, that's not happening this season. With all the noise surrounding the Eagles right now, injuries, play calling concerns, locker room dynamics, there's one element that can't be overlooked. Time is not on their side. A short week means less time to recover physically and even less time to fix the things that went wrong against Denver. But maybe that's not such a bad thing. Sometimes when a team has too much time after a frustrating loss, it leads to overthinking, second-guessing, and more internal pressure. This week, there's no room for that. It's all about getting back on the field, correcting mistakes, and handling business against a rival they absolutely should beat. But doing that means more than just fixing the X's and O's. It also means finding consistency, especially on offense. As talented as this group is, they've yet to put together a complete 4 quarters where everything clicks. We've seen elite throws from Jalen Hurts. We've seen A.J. Brown take over games. We've seen explosive plays and high-tempo drives. But we've also seen stalled drives, conservative decision-making, and moments where it feels like the team loses its identity. That lack of rhythm is part of what's holding them back. And against a team like the Giants, even if they're struggling, you can't afford to keep leaving points on the field. One of the big questions heading into this game is whether or not the Eagles' offense can start to feel more unpredictable again. Earlier in the season, they showed glimpses of creative play design. Motion, play action, deep shots, RPOs that actually kept defenses guessing. But lately, the playbook has started to look a little stale. There's not as much misdirection, not as much aggression. It feels like they've defaulted to a more basic version of the offense, and it's not working, especially in the red zone, where field goals are replacing touchdowns and opportunities are being missed. That needs to change, and it needs to change now. A fast start against the Giants could be exactly the kind of momentum builder this team needs. If they can come out firing, get points on their first drive, make a big statement early, it could set the tone for the rest of the game and maybe even the next few weeks. But none of that happens unless the offensive line steps up. That's where everything starts, and right now, it's the weakest it's been in years. And look, nobody's questioning their talent. This is still one of the most experienced and decorated lines in the league. But talent only gets you so far when guys are playing hurt, communication is off, and the execution just isn't there. The loss of Landon Dickerson is a big one, not just because of his skill, but because of how much continuity matters in the trenches. When you're shuffling linemen mid-game, it throws off everything. Timing, protection calls, run fits. And when that breakdown happens, the rest of the offense pays the price. Jalen Hurts starts to feel pressure earlier. Running lanes close up. Drives stall before they can get going. That's been the pattern lately, and it can't continue if this team wants to stay on track. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what might be the most shocking twist of the NFL season, whispers around the league are swirling after Philadelphia Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni seemingly lost his composure on live television. Sources close to the team describe a tense moment during a post-practice press session when Sirianni, usually measured and composed, appeared to snap on camera. According to insiders, the coach did more than just vent. He allegedly revealed that he wanted a player out of the Eagles roster, igniting a firestorm of speculation among fans and analysts alike. The incident, which occurred unexpectedly during a routine media briefing, has left many in the football community questioning the stability of the Eagles' locker room. Observers note that Sirianni's outburst was uncharacteristically direct, hinting at a deep frustration that had apparently been simmering behind closed doors. The nature of his comments was enough to send social media into overdrive, with fans dissecting every syllable for clues about which player might be on the chopping block. The speculation is intense, with names from both the offense and defense being thrown into the rumor mill. While the Eagles organization has remained officially tight-lipped, sources suggest that Sirianni's comments reflect more than just momentary frustration. Analysts familiar with team dynamics point out that such an admission, even in the heat of the moment, could indicate an impending roster shakeup or a serious conversation happening behind the scenes. Some insiders argue that the tension might stem from recent on-field struggles, while others hint at deeper disagreements about team strategy and player commitment. Either way, the mere suggestion that a coach would publicly call for a player's exit is extraordinary in the NFL, and it has sparked wild speculation across sports media. Fans are now left in suspense, trying to connect dots and read between the lines. Will this lead to a trade? A benching? Or is it simply a dramatic, venting moment that will fade into the background of an intense season? Whatever the outcome, one thing is clear. The Eagles' locker room and Nick Sirianni himself are now at the center of one of the most electrifying rumors of the season. The NFL world will be watching closely as the story unfolds and the mystery of which player could be on the way out continues to grip Philadelphia and beyond. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.